All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very special live with a very special guest, General Mike Flynn. General, thank you. I appreciate your time. I think all the audience appreciates your time. Ladies and gentlemen, give this video a big thumbs up so that this video grows and more people see it. And I want to start by this. I seen your movie. It was heart touching. It was, it makes your faith grow in God and what He can do even in the hardest of times. And so I want to ask you, General, how going through that experience, and a lot of us are watching right now how they're going after Trump, and
Mhm.
people get discouraged in our political system, our judiciary system. Do you think it can all be repaired? Do you think the republic can be restored? Can this country be saved?
Yeah, so the short answer is yes, Vlad, and now, but the longer answer is it's going to take time, and it's like I have learned to say that in the sort of the long arc of history, good always triumphs over evil, and the challenge with that good overcoming evil is that some periods of history have taken a lot longer than people would like to believe or people want to really understand. And I think we're in a place now where we have to sort of wrestle control of our government back from these globalists and you call them all kinds of names, but progressive, left leaning. You can call them Marxist, communist, socialist, but essentially that's what they are. They have those tendencies. They have the tendency of wanting to control at the federal level the society that we are as the United States of America. Um, and so to take all of that back and then to conduct the necessary reforms that are going to be required and the accountability that must occur, and because the American people they're just so tired of the people that have been involved in all this stuff. You saw many of it, and I do very much appreciate you watching my movie. The title of it for your audience is Flynn, Deliver the Truth, Whatever the Cost. They can stream it on Amazon, or they can go to my website, flynnmovie.com, and find it.
Link
But
is in the description, ladies and gentlemen. Straight to it. You can see when he's in your city. Just letting them
yeah,
know.
yeah. We probably have another, I don't know, 7 or 8 more cities to go. But so the answer is yes, we can do this. Reform will be required though, and in the next election here, when pray to God that Trump wins in November. Number one, I actually pray that we have an election. I'm not 100%. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm 100% certain that some type of emergency won't be declared or something crazy won't happen that keeps us from having an election. I just, I don't. These people that we're up against, they're capable of anything. But let's assume that we have a great election, a fair election, and by all rights, the way things are, the way our economy is, the way the lack of safety and security for the American people, the amount of money being poured overseas instead of being taken care of our home front. I mean, all those things should drive people to the polls and vote for, a leader that they trust. And in this case, President Trump has already demonstrated what he's capable of doing. And I had my issues with him, but I do say it in the movie. I talk about it in the movie how I don't believe he really understood the ways of Washington,
Mhm.
and he still did great. He was still the best president in my lifetime. So that's why I'm sitting here, on this road trip that I'm taking to show this film around the country, to tell people, look, we have a country to save, and the person, right now that's in the lineup to save it, at least initially for the next 4 years, is President Donald J. Trump, former President Donald J. Trump. And and once he gets in, let's assume he gets in, then I know that he's learned an awful lot about people, and then he can bring the right people in to start to take these necessary reforms that will be required. And I think that's kind of where we are. So although I can see different scenarios, I do believe that our scenario is we're going to have an election in November. The outcome is not guaranteed unless people get out and vote. We have to outsmart them, and we have to outvote them, right? We've got to get out in droves to vote for, in this case, the best leader that can lead us through the reforms and the accountability that is necessary, and get our country back on the rails, because we're off the rails right now, socially, militarily, culturally. We are off the rails. We have to get back on the rails. And in order to do that, we need a proven leader. And that proven leader is President Donald J. Trump. And, beyond that, that's why I think that there's so much speculation about his VP. And he's got to choose the right VP, because he can't have the likes of Mike Pence. As you saw in my movie, I talked about Mike Pence, and you saw it. I mean, he was like Tucker said, I don't think he's a spy or anything, but he definitely is an establishment party hack who tried to, who was put in there to really try to control President Donald J. Trump, to keep him sort of in the circle of the establishment, which is he ran on, the anti-establishment candidate, right? So, and that's where he's at today. He's the anti-establishment, pro-America candidate for the highest office in the land, and they're going to try everything that they can to keep him from office, to include his current case that he's being faced with up in New York. In fact, I'm just outside of I'm about 2 hours outside of New York City right now. But anyways, I'll stop there and see if you have any questions.
Yeah, it's interesting in your movie. Like, there's a lot of things that people have questions about, and just go watch the movie. Exactly. I remember there was even the news was reporting how you and Trump, you're now enemies. All of that is explained in the movies, because you weren't in contact with him, and he was being fed false information. There's all this stuff, but I want to come back to the whole election issue, and what the Democrats are willing to do, and what they're doing right now. If you look at all these pro-Biden influencers online, every single one is being paid by the DNC. That's not happening on the conservative side. Someone who, like me, I've been demonetized all over the place. I've had channels taken down, websites, just complete everything. They've stolen money from me. But it's about, because I immigrated here, I've seen the other side. We came here legally, right? My kids are born here. And so what do you think? How are people going to react if they cancel the election, right? There are kind of speculation circling that about 30 days before the election, they're gonna, there's gonna be an attack on either, like a black church or a Jewish synagogue, and they're gonna blame the bad white KKK Trump supporters, and that is why we're not allowed to let them vote. How do you think people are gonna react? Do you think that they are ready for what's gonna happen?
Yeah. So first of all, Donald J. Trump doesn't support, nor to adhere to anything that the KKK stands for. So right. I want to make sure that's clear, and he's actually made that clear so many times. So, but but you're right. They will name call, and they will name tag with all those, white Christian nationalists, racist, homophobe, Islamophobe, all these things, right? All these crazy things. So I do think that, your big question is, what will happen if we don't have an election? So let's just talk about how that might happen. So if they declare a climate emergency, which is something on the table right now for this administration, we are looking like we're going to shift our economy to a central bank digital currency system. The World Health Organization at the end of this month of May is going to be essentially, all the signatories of this global health care type system, which, the United States of America looks like we're going to sign up to it, even though, the many in Congress have tried to get this administration to back off of doing that. I think 49 of the senators, all the Republican senators, signed off on a letter asking this administration not to do it. But they're not in charge. This administration is doing everything by executive order edict, and it's really dangerous. The other thing is it looks like, from the rattlings over in Europe, never mind the war in the Middle East, we're looking at a much, much more dangerous situation unraveling in Ukraine right now. I really believe that we're going to see that war over there grow in strength and capacity and stature, and not diminish like it should be. It should be diminishing, and we should be, at a peace talks for that particular war. Never mind the peace talks for the Middle East, which the administration has backed away from not only a long-standing ally, but an ally that we have treaties with. So there's so many things that could cause that outcome if there's no election. What will people do? Honestly, lad, I don't know. I really don't know. We've never been there before. I mean, do I think that people are going to be very angry? Absolutely, people in this country will be very angry. How will they respond? I don't know. I pray that we don't end up there. I really don't want us to end up there. I want us to go into an election. Now, in the last 24 hours, you may not be aware, and I haven't seen the longer articles about it, but there's some articles out now. The last 24 hours, the Democrat machine, the DNC, is now talking about doing a virtual convention. So not doing the convention, which is supposed to be in Chicago. And instead of doing it by Zoom, by StreamYard, by who knows, a virtual convention. Never been done before. And so why are they already floating that? Is it because they already know that there's going to be huge riots and protests in Chicago, which I guarantee there will be, against them and their policies? Or because they already know that they're going to impose some type of health emergency? I just mentioned the World Health Organization at the end of this month of May is going to be coming out with some broad policies. They've already stated what they're going to do, but is there going to be some kind of health crisis that we're going to experience? We've already seen things bubbling up about all these various, avian flu, H1N1, all these different things popping up globally. So, do they know something that we don't know? So is that why they're going to have a virtual convention? A virtual convention is something that we've never had before. So the fact that they're floating that and they're considering it, that tells me that there's something up their sleeve. And I think we all need to be paying very close attention. I think the American people need to wake up about this. And so we'll see. I don't know, is my answer, Vlad. I don't know what the reaction of the American people will be. We can address all the kinds of scenarios that might happen. And the worst one would be, of course, people becoming violent. And that would be a very tragic thing for this country, because I think that this administration they'll lock this country down. They'll lock it down. They might lock it down anyway. I mean, I don't hold anything out for these people to take actions that they can take, because I think that they're desperate to hold on to power. I think that they're afraid that they have been caught by the American people. The American people are, enough is enough, that we're tired of it. And that if we have an election, then they will clearly be beaten hands down, even by people who are, like I said in the movie, right? I said, I'm a registered Democrat, right? I mean, now I'm not anymore, but I talk about that because this is not about party politics anymore, folks. This is about whether or not we're going to have the United States of America as it is today, as a constitutional republic. As a guy like, Vladimir Newell came in, and I'm sorry if I forget your last name wrong, but Vlad, you came into this country to get in here as an immigrant, but you did it legally. You did it because you left a place that wasn't conducive for freedom, and you were seeking freedom. And what we don't want, we are the last bastion of freedom for the world. There's no other place to go, folks. So, anyways, Vlad, and I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, I know you said, you have 15 minutes, you got other things to do. So with this remaining minute left, between now and November, what can average people do, right? To kind of, what are your suggestion? Just to ensure Trump wins and that we, the American people, win.
Yeah, the most important thing that people can do is, if they're not registered, go register to vote. But go and vote. I mean, we can't have 35% turnout or 40% turnout or even 65% turnout. We've got to have all hands on deck, they say in the Navy, right? Everybody. We got to have like 95%. I mean, if you love this country, if you love your freedom, if you love your family, your community, and you love where the way that your life is. The only way that you can continue to have that life is if we vote for this nation to continue to be a constitutional republic based on a set of rights, based on a bill of rights, right? And a set of laws that are equal to all, justice that is equal to all. The only way that that stays that way is if we get out there and we vote for good people, good leaders to continue to fight for us at those various levels, county, state, and federal. So if that's the most important thing. The second thing, and it's as important to me, is get involved in your communities and go help somebody, or go run yourself, or go volunteer in one of these community organizations that will drive more people to vote. We have to get out in droves. We have to sort of, and as Trump says, I think he says, we have to beat the rig, right?
Mhm.
So anyway,
Too big
that's
to rig.
too big to rig. We got to have the voter turnout that's so enormous. I'm talking 85, 90% voter turnout. Please get out there and do that.
Amen. Yeah, I'm actually registering a lot of like older from Russia, Ukraine immigrants
Yes.
who came here 20, 30 years ago but never voted. They're citizens. Yeah, I'm
Right.
asking my parents, friends, uncles, aunts, and everyone wants to vote. They want to get in. General Flynn, thank you. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. Keep fighting the good fight. Ladies and gentlemen, link is in the description to go and watch the movie, stream it, see when he's going to be in your city, get the tickets, meet General Flynn. It's an experience. God bless you. Thank you, General.
Thank you, Vlad, and thank you to your audience, your smart audience. Thank you for what you do for this country, especially as a legal immigrant. Thank you so much for having the courage to leave your country to come here and to this blessed place. And I want your audience to not forget that's a very difficult, courageous step to take in a young man's life. So I'm better because I've met you. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, God bless, buddy.